Hello everyone, this is the movie Chris. A massive creature has been sleeping beneath the Arctic Ocean for centuries. Then humans woke it up. What started as a routine scientific operation quickly turned into a nightmare, involving sinking submarines, ancient legends, and a monster big enough to swallow whales whole. This is one of Russia's most ambitious deep-sea creature features. And trust me, things only get crazier from here. The story begins on a frozen sheet of Arctic ice. Two scientists are conducting explosive tests near their research station. At first, everything seems normal. Then the ice beneath their feet starts moving, not cracking, moving. Long fractures race across the surface like veins spreading through living flesh. Realizing something is terribly wrong, the pair jumps onto their snowmobiles and races back toward camp. Behind them, the entire ice field erupts into chaos. The research station is ripped apart by violent tremors. Buildings collapse. Equipment is destroyed. Almost everyone stationed there is killed. Out of the entire team, only the two scientists survive. 300 meters beneath the ice, a Russian submarine has been monitoring unusual activity in the area. Shortly before the disaster, the crew detected something impossible. According to their instruments, the ocean floor appeared to be rising. Then came a series of powerful biological signals. The officers quickly realized the seabed wasn't moving at all. Something enormous was ascending from the depths. Before they can react, disaster strikes. The collapsing ice sends the submarine tumbling through the water. The vessel flips violently. Crew members are thrown against walls. Systems begin failing. With the submarine moments away from destruction, the captain launches an emergency distress beacon toward the surface. It may be their only chance of being found. Hours later, the two surviving scientists discover the beacon drifting across the ice. Unable to contact anyone themselves, they decide to stay nearby and wait for rescue. Back at naval headquarters, the missing submarine triggers an emergency response. Another submarine is immediately dispatched. Leading the mission is Captain Victor. What makes this assignment personal is the fact that the missing submarine was commanded by his older brother. Concerned that emotions might cloud Victor's judgment, the Navy assigns a high-ranking admiral to supervise the operation. Officially, they're there to rescue survivors. Unofficially, there is another priority. The lost submarine carries a highly classified weapon. If recovery becomes impossible, that weapon must be destroyed before it falls into the wrong hands. After several days of navigating through Arctic waters, Victor's submarine finally reaches the distress beacon. But something strange happens. A massive pod of whales surrounds the vessel. Instead of fleeing, they swim alongside it. They gently bump against the hull. Their mournful calls echo through the ocean. Crew members analyze the sounds. It doesn't seem like aggression. It sounds like fear. Almost like a warning. Using sonar, the crew drives the whales away. Unfortunately, they just ignored the only creatures trying to save them. Moments later, the instruments report the same impossible readings. The ocean floor is rising again. One whale lags behind the others. Suddenly, an enormous tentacle bursts upward from the darkness. The creature snatches the whale as if it weighed nothing and drags it into the abyss. The crew finally understands the horrifying truth. The seabed isn't moving. It is alive. The admiral immediately wants to launch torpedoes, but Victor refuses. They don't know what they're dealing with yet. Instead, he orders the submarine into a narrow glacier passage. The giant creature may not fit inside. Unfortunately, neither does the submarine. The vessel scrapes violently against the ice walls. Alarms scream throughout the compartments. The crew narrowly avoids crashing headfirst into solid ice. By the time they finally stop, nearly every system has sustained damage. Warning lights flash throughout the submarine. The admiral is furious. He accuses Victor of recklessness and violating protocol. Victor accepts the criticism but refuses to abandon the mission. Eventually, the submarine surfaces near the distress beacon. The two scientists are still alive. Technically, bringing them aboard violates regulations. They're foreigners. Allowing civilians onto a Russian military submarine could create serious complications. The admiral argues they should be left behind. Victor ignores him. He brings the survivors aboard anyway. After hearing their story, the pieces begin falling into place. The scientists explain they had been conducting controlled explosions beneath the ice for weeks without incident. Then they were ordered to double the explosive yield. That is when everything changed. The ice began trembling. The station was destroyed, and whatever had been sleeping beneath the Arctic finally woke up. The scientists believe their experiments attracted the creature. The admiral insists they return to headquarters immediately and report the threat. Their communication systems have already been damaged. The only way to warn anyone is to physically return home. Victor refuses. Their mission was to rescue the missing submarine. As far as he is concerned, they haven't completed it. Dead or alive, he intends to find his brother's crew. The admiral warns him this is already his second serious mistake. One more act of disobedience and he'll remove Victor from command himself. Still, Victor presses forward. Not long after, the creature returns. Biological signals erupt across the monitors. Despite evasive maneuvers, the submarine can't shake its pursuer. Ahead lies a Norwegian oil platform. For a brief moment, it seems like the monster has lost interest. Then the ocean explodes. Towering tentacles rise into the sky. The massive drilling platform is ripped apart in seconds. For the first time, everyone witnesses the full scale of the nightmare stalking them through the Arctic. The monster turns its attention back toward the submarine. Victor orders an emergency dive. The vessel plunges downward as crew members struggle to stay on their feet. This time, the admiral has had enough. Declaring Victor unfit to command, he officially relieves him of duty. His first order is simple: prepare the torpedoes. Fire everything. They twist through the water toward the creature, but the monster releases a cloud of black fluid that disrupts their guidance systems. Additional torpedoes detonate against its body. None of them penetrate. It is as if the beast is protected by armor. The monster charges. The admiral freezes. For all his authority, he has no idea what to do next. Slowly, he turns toward Victor. Take over. Before Victor can issue new commands, a massive tentacle slams into the submarine. The entire vessel shakes violently. Crew members are thrown to the floor. Another strike follows. Fires erupt throughout multiple compartments. The damaged submarine begins sinking uncontrollably. 700 meters, 750, 800. They're approaching crush depth. If they descend much farther, the pressure will flatten them like a soda can. Victor orders emergency ballast release. The desperate gamble works. The submarine stops falling, but the creature isn't leaving. It circles above them, waiting, watching. Victor notices something. The monster always responds to sound. He orders every non-essential system shut down. No sonar, no unnecessary movement. Silence. The strategy works. For the first time, the creature hesitates. Using ocean currents, the battered submarine drifts beneath the monster. Its enormous tentacles wave overhead. One mistake could kill everyone. Meanwhile, a fire continues burning inside the torpedo compartment. The crew can't fight it without making noise. They sit trapped between two disasters. Eventually, Victor floods the compartment with suppressant gas. The flames die out, but the submarine is barely holding together. The wounded fill the corridors. Weapon systems are crippled. Morale is collapsing. The admiral recommends retreat. Most of the crew agrees. After everything they've endured, Victor reluctantly accepts. The rescue mission is over, or so they think. Before the submarine turns back, one of the scientists reveals a disturbing theory. Near the destroyed research station lies an underwater basin. She believes it is the creature's nest. During her studies of ancient texts, she discovered legends from civilizations all over the world describing similar monsters. Island-sized sea creatures. Massive tentacled predators. Ancient sailors called them kraken. They never disappeared. They simply slept. Now, one of them has awakened. According to the legends, krakens possess poor vision and limited coordination after long periods of hibernation, but their hearing remains incredibly sharp. That is why silence works. Then the crew detects something unexpected. A rhythmic metallic sound. They trace it back to the basin. Someone is knocking. The missing submarine survived, and its crew is still alive. Victor broadcasts the signal throughout the vessel. Hope spreads through the exhausted crew. Then he reminds them what being sailors means. You don't abandon your own, no matter the odds. One by one, every crew member returns to their station. The rescue mission isn't over yet. It is just getting started. The submarine descends deeper into the Kraken's lair, closer to the abyss, closer to death, and closer to the men they've come to save. At nearly 1,000 meters below the surface, the pressure becomes unbearable. Rivets shoot from the hull. Metal groans in protest. Then they finally locate the missing submarine. The good news? They found it. The bad news? It is resting at the bottom of a 5,000-meter trench. Their submarine can't survive that depth. Fortunately, they still have one option. A small rescue sub attached to the vessel. Victor volunteers immediately. Descending into the abyss, the rescue team discovers a graveyard of ships from every era of history. Ancient wrecks, modern vessels, all gathered beneath the Arctic like trophies. The missing submarine lies among them. It can't move, but astonishingly, the trapped crew is still alive. Since the rescue sub can only carry a few people at a time, Victor stays behind to coordinate multiple evacuation trips. The first rescue succeeds. But during the second trip, disaster strikes again. The Kraken attacks the main submarine. Following the Admiral's orders, the crew hides deep within underwater canyon walls. The monster misses its target, but the damaged submarine suffers further destruction. Systems fail one after another. The Admiral makes another impossible decision. He orders a full retreat. Saving the people already aboard must come first. Victor and everyone trapped below will have to fend for themselves. As the main submarine escapes, the Kraken shifts its attention toward the wrecked submarine. At the same moment, the rescue sub arrives. Victor realizes there is only one way to stop the creature. He enters the weapons compartment of the lost submarine. The reason headquarters cared so much about recovering this vessel suddenly becomes clear. It wasn't just carrying sailors. It carried a secret weapon. Victor activates it. People often say fear comes from the unknown, but sometimes fear simply comes from not having enough firepower. The weapon detonates. A blinding explosion tears through the depths. The blast reaches all the way toward the surface. The Kraken is obliterated, reduced to fragments. Only a single tentacle sinks slowly into the dark ocean. With the monster defeated, Victor remembers his final duty: destroy the classified weapon permanently. He initiates the submarine's self-destruct sequence. 5 minutes. Water floods the compartments. Guided by memories of his brother, Victor struggles back into the rescue sub. Above the Arctic Ocean, dawn finally breaks. The Admiral's submarine surfaces beneath the morning sky. Then ripples disturb the water nearby. The rescue sub emerges. Against all odds, Victor and the survivors made it home. As cheers erupt across the deck, Victor reunites with his brother. For the first time since the nightmare began, the freezing Arctic wind no longer feels cold. It feels like hope. After staring into the darkness beneath the ocean, they finally found their way back to the light. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.